Well, 2 weeks ago, Sonex closed their doors to business, possibly indefinitely. Many of us builders kind of went through the typical grieving patterns that we sometimes read about with the loss of a loved one. First there was denial. I was wondering, and I think many others were probably wondering if this was some kind of April Fool's joke, with it just happening a couple of days before April the 1st. Many of us maybe started down the path of bargaining, where we considered donating money maybe to the Shables, or maybe buying some of the intellectual property of the Sonex brand and doing something with it later. Several people exhibited anger. I did a little bit, but not nearly as much as some people who had lost quite a bit of money, particularly those who had purchased kit components for the high wing. I think all of us suffered some form of depression in some way, like, what do I do now? Where do I go from here? And then, many of us, I think, finally are just getting to the point of acceptance in this new world we live in, where we, have this orphaned kit that needs to be built, and we're not really sure where to go necessarily for the support we'll need to carry on. I had several people ask me if I was going to continue building. So thank you for reaching out, for those of you who did. To be honest, there were days when I wondered myself if I was going to go ahead and continue on. Kind of questioned myself, like, what's the point of this without factory support and all that. In the end, though, I do have a complete kit. I realize that not everybody does. There's quite a few people who've purchased sub kits and no longer have a way forward. But for me, that's not the case. I do have a complete kit. I do have all my parts, including the engine mount that I recently purchased for my Rotax 912. And it did come in, about a month ago. So I did get in those last parts that I needed to be able to move forward. Not only that, but there are several people that have and continue to build their Sonex from scratch. That is a possibility as well. Again, because I do have all of the parts for my kit, I have the ability to reverse engineer something using an extruded piece of aluminum, or purchase a new sheet of aluminum and drill holes where needed. So with all that in mind, this video is my attempt to get back on that horse and continue building my Sonex. I make no promises about whether or not this airplane is going to eventually become finished at this point. I'm going to do my best. And again, most of the parts I think I can build again if I need to. There's a whole carriage industry that's going to come out of this, I think, if Sonex doesn't find some kind of funding going forward, or if somebody doesn't, kind of pick up the baton and run with it. There will be other people who will be able to make the parts and fabricate them for us, the hard parts. So I'm just going to move forward and let's get on with it. All right, first up, I'm going to talk about this new tool that I bought. If you happen to follow anything having to do with Sonex, you've probably heard of a guy named Brian Cotton, very well-versed Sonex builder. He peruses all of the forum sites and Facebook pages and all that kind of stuff. And there's just this thing that's come to be known as Cotton's Law, and what that is that the whole purpose of building airplanes is not to build an airplane, but to have a reason to buy tools. And so he has mentioned several times to me that I need to get something called a pancake drill, or pancake drill adapter, I guess. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but essentially that's what this tool is here on the front of my drill. Basically, there's a shaft that comes off the drill, turns a gear here, and turns several other gears until you get the little drill bit down here to spin. And what that allows you to do is get in some really tight spots where you might not have any ability to drill otherwise. So you can compare that to this 90-degree drill bit here that I have, and you can see that, if I were to line up the tips of these two drill bits, I'd have to have a lot more clearance even to get this in there. But with the pancake drill bit, I can actually get into a spot that's only about 1 inch wide to be able to drill a hole where I need it. And I also found another set of these little bits that you can get for it. These are 1/4 inch, 28 threads per inch drill bits here that screw in. And you can buy these in bulk as well, different sizes. I happened to find another used lot on eBay that had just a smattering of different sizes. So this is the the size 30. I think I have a couple of them in the little bag that I bought. But I have used it to great avail, and it works really well. I'm very happy with it. So the throw on this is long enough that I can actually get into the second holes in here, which is where I need to reach, and still have enough room for my drill to get in there and do the job. So technically I could probably drill these holes from the inside, kind of just drilling in this direction with a longer drill bit. But when you put in a longer drill bit, this is so close to the edge here that my drill would actually bump up against the side panel, and it would possibly twist the drill bit a little bit to the side. To get this a nice straight drill, that pancake adapter is actually the right tool to do that. So thanks, Brian, for the suggestion. It seems to be working fine. Alright, now it's time to get on to sort of the meat and potatoes of this video. This is my forward tunnel Z. It matches up on the inside with the aft tunnel web, which kind of goes across the fuselage here. And that the forward tunnel Z kind of goes across the front here, and we'll close this off into a box. And that is where our wings are going to slide into place, one from each side. Then we're going to have to do some wing rigging at some point where we put this all together and we have to drill a hole. Eventually this hole is going to become a 1/2 inch, and it will be drilled all the way through the wings, through the ends of the spars here as well as here, and that's what kind of attaches the wings to the aircraft. So basically what I need to do is there's a couple holes here that I need to pilot drill from the other end first, and then we're going to up drill all these to 1/8 inch size. And then we also have to counter drill the parts that this attaches to. So this angle here, and there's a couple of other parts underneath here that also have to get that counter drilled, so they have a bevel. And then we're going to have to dimple the holes that are on this side through the sheet, and that is to accommodate flush mount rivets that are going to go through here. So that's what we're going to do today, and hopefully this all turns out well, because again, now that Sonex is out of business, this is a pretty critical part of the airplane and will not be very simple to rebuild if I need to. Alright, so first things first, we're going to flip this over. There are several holes back here that don't go all the way through the sheet metal here. I count at least 4 of them, 2 here, 2 here, that need to poke through. Alright, so all these pilot holes have been drilled through. I put the clecos on the other side so that I can lay this on the table flat and flat here so it keeps it square. So there's the angle that goes here. This connects up to the side wall of the aircraft. And then there's this clip that goes over the top here. It's, you know, slightly larger than the square here on the side, which is, I think it's 1.5 inches maybe wide. So that kind of goes up here. This piece covers all of that. And then there's a smaller clip that goes underneath here that just fits right around here. And it's not part of the square here. You might be able to see just a little bit of it poking out. So what I'm going to end up needing to do then is up drilling these holes here all to 1/8 inch. And then on all the parts that meet up with the skin, they need to be counter drilled this direction, so that we can put in flush mount rivets. And then with this skin, because it's going to be meeting up with countersunk holes on the other side with flush mount rivets, we're going to have to dimple the skin here in each of these holes. Alright, all these holes are up drilled to 1/8 inch, and now it's time to disassemble this, and we will dimple the skin and we will countersink the parts that go underneath down here. Just marking this up so I know which side to counter drill. Make sure that I'm doing the right part. This part does not get counter drilled, so I'm not going to mark it. I've already marked here to dimple downwards. I'm not going to make all the circles. I've already got it marked here so I know which side to do, but it needs to be dimpled that direction. Alright, got them all countersunk on this one part. Now to go on to the next part. Alright, the instructions here say that we should put in 10 rivets, 8 on top and then 2 down below into this spacer plate that's on the left. And then it says to leave the rivets out of this upright and the spacer plate that goes behind that. I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to leave this all just drilled and it's all dimpled and countersunk and all that. But if I go ahead and put these rivets in, then this area, that'll make it almost impossible to attach this upright to the holes that need to go there. So if you look at this drawing, you can see that the skin here is dimpled down into the hole that I've countersunk, and it's a tight fit. I don't know how I'd be able to get that upright in between there without bending the skin out, not significantly, but sort of significantly when you look at how close that is to the edge up here. And so I'm just going to leave this clecoed for now, and when the time comes, once the wings are ready to go, then and all this is all in place where it needs to be, then I'll think about riveting that all into place. But for right now, I'm just going to leave it. It's always better to leave things until you know for sure that you're ready to rivet them. Alright, well I think that's where I'm going to end this one. The part is, while not riveted, it is all prepared for rivets when the time comes. I'm happy with that. It's good to be kind of back in the saddle again and knocking out some assemblies here on my airplane. So thanks for hanging out for a little bit with me, and if you've enjoyed this video and you're not subscribed yet, consider doing so. We'll see you on the next one. Take it easy.